It was good, everyone. My name's Abir Biswas, and today we're going to be exploring the 3 keys to speed in track and field. So the first key to speed is actually explosiveness. Explosiveness is super important in track and field because when you come out of the blocks from a dormant position to an active position, so you explode out of the blocks. You have to be training in terms of explosive strength. What that means is basically a lot of hang cleans as you jerk the weight off the ground. Box squats are actually super important. Deadlifts are super important as well. Squats, of course, all of these are strength, but what you really want to focus on is explosive strength. Basically what an explosive exercise is a movement from a position at rest to a position of activity. Once again, much like the movement out of the blocks. So explosive strength is also important for when you're hitting your top running speed, because as your foot strikes the ground, it can only spend a short amount of time on the ground before it's able to lift again. You have to be able to put the maximum amount of force into the ground for that duration of time that your foot is on the ground. One more thing is sprint athletes usually tend not to do very well in the weight room in terms of bodybuilding. So there's this old adage that sprinters are average in the gym and phenomenal in the track, and bodybuilders are average in the track and phenomenal in the gym. So training just for muscle isn't going to correlate exactly into training for speed. Otherwise, once again, bodybuilders would be winning all these races, and that clearly isn't happening. So if you're training like a bodybuilder for track, you're training wrong. Is actually training for your hamstrings instead of your quads. So last year while I was training, I would train mainly for my quads through squats. So I was doing squats 3 times a week. Got my squat up to something like 225 pounds for reps, and what ended up happening was I came into the season and I only PR'd by 0.1 seconds. If you're training for a whole off season, you come back and only PR by 0.1 seconds, that's not the best feeling. So what I realized is training for hamstrings is more important, and I'll give you a test for this. What you'll see is if you put your foot on the ground and you try to push up, then your quad will activate. But if you put your foot on the ground and you try to pull inwards, your hamstring will activate. And the act of running is pulling the ground inwards, which contracts actually your hamstring. So your quads are essentially mainly used in the acceleration phase of track, and your hamstrings are mainly used in the maintaining speed phase of the race. With that being said, the way you train hamstrings is the following, deadlifts, hang cleans, hamstring curls. Any way that you can get your hamstrings stronger will benefit you on the track. Another thing is to know that your hamstrings are super sensitive. You gotta make sure you're stretching them, otherwise it'll pull your hamstring. That'll take you out for like a whole season. It just isn't fun. Final key to speed in track and field is isometric training. What isometric training is essentially from a dormant position moving to a point of activity. What that means essentially is like hamstring holds, wall sits. All these isometric movements will increase your ability to hold contraction. The reason this is beneficial is the longer you're in a position at an isometric hold, your muscle will recruit more units in order to maintain yourself at that position. What that translates into is, for example, if you're doing a Bulgarian split squat isometric hold, as your muscle recruits more and more units for your hamstring to keep you upright, your hamstring essentially is able to generate more and more power. Your hamstring, because it's recruiting more units, is able to put more force in the ground, thus driving you further per step. So those are my 3 keys to speed. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm gonna be coming out with a few things in the future. I'm coming out with a store, coming out with a track and field community forum for people like us to be able to work together and solve each other's problems in terms of speed. Or we can just talk about, track and field events like, how fast Wade Van Niekerk is and, the current state of affairs in the track and field world. Beyond that, I think I'm gonna come out with an ebook on the proper way to come out of the blocks, block starts. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I encourage you guys to subscribe, and yeah, see you guys later.